Hello, everybody. Welcome to the National Parents Union Nightly Restorative Check-in. Today is Monday, February 22nd of 2021. So I read somewhere that all of those double digits, the 222s, like supposedly they're really great numbers. So and today is a good day because I'm super excited about the guest that I'm going to have that is going to be joining us today. So as always, I am your host, Marisol Quevedo Rerucha. I am the very proud wife to Daniel. I am also the daughter of Irma and Abraham. I'm the mother to Camerina, Emilia, and Sofia. I am the granddaughter of Camerina, Alejandro, Francisco, and Carmen. And I'm the super, super proud grandmother of Isabela Luna, who is 4 years old, Cynthia Ileana, who just turned 11 months old, and Lorenzo Martin, my grandson, who was born on Thursday. So we have a brand new baby in the family, and he is the first boy to be born in my immediate family since my younger brother, who was born in 1988. With a lot of joy and honor that we welcome this new blood, this new future ancestor into our family. And as always, I'll give a little explanation as to why I introduce myself in that way. And it really grounds me, and it reminds me who I am and the responsibility that I have, that this voice carries. And the responsibility is way bigger than I am, way bigger than myself or my experience. I truly believe that I am and you are the prayers of our ancestors, and that we are the product of a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams, a lot of love, a lot of challenge, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. And for that reason, I state who it is that I'm walking in this world with, who it is that cared for me and continues to care for me from the spiritual world, from the ancestral world, and those who are coming after us. And I recognize the hopes and the dreams that I carry for the future. And so I always invite others to introduce themselves in that way. In any space that you go into, that you're allowed that brief moment of time to introduce yourself and remind yourself that the voice that you represent is so much bigger than you. And also, I think it just helps ground us and remind us, that that there's more than just us. Like this really, we do have to take care of ourselves. We have to care for ourselves. We have to make sure that our needs are met. But really, like, who we are in this existence is really more than just about us as an individual. It's about our community. It's about our family, about all of the relations that we've made. So thank you for that moment. And thank you. I'm so happy and proud to be able to introduce my grandson to you today. So he was born on Thursday. I don't know the exact time, somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. He's just an amazing, amazing human being. And having 3 children, that there's no way that you can quantify love. Holding this little boy, just like I held Cynthia Ileana, who my family calls Chonchis, and I held Luna, the love that emanates and that comes forth, it's so profound. And it's so much bigger, right? So much bigger than me, so much bigger than this world. And what an honor to hold my grandson for the first time. And it was also really beautiful seeing his sisters interact with him for the first time. So with that, we're going to transition into our breathing technique. So we do the 4-7-8 breathing technique. So this is what we do. We inhale for 4 seconds. We hold for 7. We release for 8. We do this 4 times. And I will guide you. So I'll tell you when to inhale, and then I'll count, and then release, and then I'll count to 7. And then, inhale to 4, hold for 7, and then release for 8. And I'll do that 4 times. So your job is to breathe. And this technique was taught to me by Dr. Anjali, who does the show on Friday. So please make sure that you tune in. And so we do this as we go into our transition. So we're going to transition into our guest speaker. So if you could please, not our guest speaker, our guest for tonight. So if you could please put your feet firmly on the ground, in any way that it is that you feel you can connect with the earth through the ground. I know that a lot of us are on top of concrete, we're on top of wood, but just feel that connection. Just take a regular breath in and out, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Thank you for joining me in that breathing technique. Always use it. I use it every night before I go to sleep. I use it when I'm transitioning activities. And I'm using it right now. We've been helping take care of Luna. I haven't seen, the baby they call Chonchis, I haven't seen her too much, but definitely using it, having our vivacious 4-year-old with us. So please make sure to use that technique and any other breathing techniques that you find. So with that, I'm going to have our guest come on, Lora Bumatay. And hold on, let me move us. There we go. That way I have the MP on my forehead and you don't have to worry about it. Hello, Lora.
Hello, how are you?
I'm so happy to be with you and to be talking with you. And before we get started, I just want to congratulate you again on your new role as principal of Chula Vista Middle School. So I'm hoping that we can talk about that. But before we get into the nest, this is your opportunity to please introduce yourself in any way that you like. You want to talk about yourself, your work, your family, the things you love, the things you can't stand, whatever it is that you would like to share.
All right. Well, again, my name's Lora. And you know what I really value, Marisol, are friendships like ours. Yeah. Yay! Hi, Mina. Because it's withstood such a long test of years. And I feel like that's really rare. Mm-hmm. And if there's anything that's taught me about being quarantined and isolation, is just the connection that you have with that small circle of people you have in your life. Mm-hmm. So, my description, you asked me how to describe myself. And one of the adjectives I chose was loyal, because I really feel like I'm a loyal person. Like once I decide that, okay, you're going to be part of my circle, you're going to be part of my tribe, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that you're okay. And I'm counting on that you're going to do the same for me. Mm-hmm. So I've been very lucky. I've been with my sweetheart for a number of years, and we've grown up together.
How old were you when you met?
We were 12. And, we had our time apart, right? Mm-hmm. And then, even though we got married, we were young. We were 21. We had our kids young, too. And we've been able to grow together. And I feel so blessed because he has always been a big supporter. I kind of hear other people have, a person in their lives that maybe gives them ultimatums or has them make decisions. Never, ever had that with Eric. So, of course, he tempers me with some questions like, you really want to do that? You really want to do that? And makes me think. But overall, very, very grateful for his love and support. So, I have 3 kids. So Sherilyn is 28. Allison is 26. And then we have Eric Jr., who is going to be 15. So next month's a big month for us. out of the 5 of us, 4 of us have birthdays happening next month. So Eric and I are going to turn the big 5-0. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
How is that possible? How in the world?
I know. We're forever chasing that fountain of youth, and I feel it. I feel it.
Trust me, you have found it.
I don't know. What else would you like me to talk about?
I love the way that you talk about your relationship with the love of your life, with your spouse, with your partner. And I think also, Lora, you're so right that there are people in this world that don't have, even if they're in a partnership, don't have that type of support. And what a blessing it is to have somebody who sees you. And you talk about being loyal, and I think that part of life of learning how to be in relationship with somebody for so long and in a happy, healthy marriage, and that teaches our kids, is just a gift.
Yeah. And part of that is really knowing first of all, before that book came out, but really knowing what your love language is, like how to really show your partner that you care and love them. And also how you communicate with each other. So when I hear couples that have been bickering for like over a week, or they've given each other the cold shoulder, I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I don't know how that feels like, because I'm out of my comfort zone if I am not aligned with my partner or my family, so if there's something on our minds, like we need to respectfully discuss it. And what I've learned a lot lately, as I'm getting older, is some people are not ready to have those conversations yet. And I need to be able to exercise patience. So even though I might want to have a conversation, they might not be at the same place, and we need to be able to meet halfway, so I've learned that, I need to wait until the other person's ready.
Ooh, that's a big lesson right there. And the way you say it is so simple, right? Like it's very simply stated that you have learned that you have to be patient. You're ready to do something. You're ready to have a conversation around emotions or around connection, the communication, and somebody else isn't ready. And just really that lesson around learning patience. And you say it so simply, but that is a hard lesson to learn.
It really is, because I'm the type of person, it sits on my mind and I spin it and I spin it and I respin it. And, but at the same time, it helps me refine and carefully choose how I want to convey something. Yeah. Because, I think part of it is, Hi, Mom. So part of it is, I always want to come from a place of positive intent. I'm not here to hurt anybody. And even though I'm angry and I might say something spur of the moment because I'm just so heated, I need to recognize like, okay, I really didn't mean that, and that's another, is being able to forgive people. That to me is one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned in my life. Is, it's not worth it to carry around, anger and hatred, and to be able just to forgive somebody and, might not have the same kind of relationship, but, I think that it helps bring peace to your heart, to your mind.
Yeah, that internal peace, like just what you said, sorry I cut you off, but that peace to your heart and your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you had to do work of forgiving yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, I think everybody does. I mean, I used to be very driven, like, okay, when I was younger, what do I need to do to get ahead and, meet these milestones? And I think over the years, your definition of what makes you happy and, what you feel is the meaning of success changes, right? So, I've had to, rethink and just be a little bit wiser. Like, not everything is about, making a lot of money or, I think for kids these days, there's a lot of pressure, especially with the social platforms, to be popular. I think that's a big pressure for them, that, they want to gather all those likes or hearts or whatever it is. And that's something we didn't really have. We didn't have to deal with.
It was different, I think. I think it was different in that, like, those, like, that construct of popularity existed, right? It existed in schools. Like, there were people that were popular. They had, like, so it existed in a small sense.
Yeah.
So it's so bigger because the world has got, like, the exposure is so different.
Right.
I just wanted to throw this up here. Our dear friend.
Hi, Val.
Dear friend, Miss Val.
Yeah.
I love you.
About somebody to learn something from.
Yeah.
That's Valerie,
Yeah, she was on the show. It's probably been about a month and a half or so. Yeah. And such a gift to have time to talk with her. One of the things that you just said is you said that the meaning of success has changed. And so you were very driven when you were younger. And like, so success was something. What has it become? What is it now? What is your understanding of that?
Well, I think I had to do a shift because I think when I was younger, like most people, you were trying to make your family proud, right? Trying to make mom and dad proud. And so, getting good grades and staying out of trouble and all of that. But, as life goes on, I think you get more in tune with, well, wait a minute, what about my happiness, and what's important to me? So I just think that's all part of, growing up.
So what is your happiness? What are those things that are important to you? How are you successful in your life?
I am really happy when I feel like I've done something out of service to somebody else, and so I think nowadays I'm a little bit more sensitive to listening, first of all, listening more and trying to help. If I can do something to help somebody, then I should do it. So I feel like we all have a place here on Earth where there's a reason why we have these different interactions and encounters with people, and so I feel very happy if I can do something for somebody else. That makes me feel very good.
Well, and going back to what you originally said about like your love language, so your love language must be service.
You got it, So you know what? I tell people all the time, I don't need roses. I don't need jewelry. What makes me happy is, Eric took the car and he got me a tank of gas. So I don't have to do it, or I came home and there's dinner ready. You know what I mean? I just... that to me is, was very, very telling. Like, I am not one for expensive brands or whatever. I'd rather have somebody who will, do the laundry, you know what I mean? And I'll do it with you, so yeah, actually you hit it on the nail. Yeah.
Well, I was just listening. I was just listening. Well, and I think also like seeing and knowing your husband, right? Because we've known each other so since I started teaching in 1990. So that's going on 22, 23-ish years.
I'm telling you, that's why we're doing this on February 22nd, man. All those numbers line up,
Right. Well, and Lora, the thing that also you said about just like being loyal and friendships, and the beauty of that is that there has been an effortlessness in our relationship and in our friendship.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that I'm going to take this moment to really appreciate, because I hadn't thought about it. I just always, when I see you, I'm so happy. The moments that we've shared together, so happy. The moments that our families have shared, like there's really beautiful moments.
Right.
But it's been effortless, really, like over the course of these years.
Yeah.
Of winning it. It's really beautiful. It's a gift.
I believe that, Marisol. And I've been able to watch your journey and what you've been able to do, and I'm just very grateful that, I feel like I'm not ashamed to ask you for help, for, advice when I was trying to, seek a principalship. Like, can you help me? Can you read my stuff? Can you write me a letter? And, we're all here to learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, this whole thing about, that's another lesson for me was, the power of position. Does that really exist? I feel like more it's, the power of encouragement and influencing somebody in a positive way that makes more of a lasting impact.
You know what I think it is? It's your thoughts about the position, because if your power of position is here,
yeah,
we're good. If it's the power of position because of here,
right,
there's this kind of a thing, then that's where things feel wrong and can be off. But when we approach, regardless of what it is that you've accomplished or achieved or have been recognized for, but when you approach other people this way, because we're human beings in the same space.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about, because when you talked about wanting the difference between how driven you were, like you wanted to have things done, you had milestones, there were things you wanted to complete, and then talking about going into the principalship and the lesson on patience. When you talked about patience, because you were an assistant principal for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that you weren't interested in every principal position, but there were principal positions that came up that you felt would have been a really good match for you.
Right.
And they didn't come true. So let's talk about that journey and how you feel now.
Well, so I've always kind of been careful. I don't even know if that's the right word, but mindful maybe is a better word about where I think I can best be of service. There's that word again. So it wasn't that I just wanted to become a principal.
Right.
I wanted to really be put somewhere where we could feel a connection, that I could relate to the families that I was going to be serving, and that it would be a good fit. So, we have lots of people who have had a similar journey. And the thing is, you don't give up. I could have easily said, you know what, I'm just going to stay where I'm at. I'm good. But really, I'm the kind of person, I need to grow, and I don't like being in the same position or the same duties for a long time, because I don't feel like I'm challenging myself. So I feel like, I'm a lifelong learner, and my sister-in-law says, yeah, you like a challenge. And I guess I do, I guess I do. So I'm really, really enjoying my job, learning all these new things, meeting the staff, the families, budgets. And what I really, I didn't anticipate the amount of communication that the staff really want, from their site leader, so yeah, that's been an adjustment for me, but I'm really loving it.
So what was it like on your first day?
On my first day, actually, the day that I reported, because everybody's working from home, it was just me and the custodian. So it was lonely. Like, I was excited to come into my office, but I'm kind of by myself because the custodians were working outside. So I had a really good friend, Easter. Easter came in and she actually brought me lunch. So that was my memory. She made my memory for the first day. So that was great.
Well, and I imagine the way that schooling is right now, just it's a different way of entering the principalship.
Yeah, absolutely.
About like meeting with parents, meeting with staff, meeting your kids, and like that whole piece is so different in this world. So how has that been going for you?
Very challenging, so whereas you can probably hit, how many classrooms down the hallway, here I'm literally like joining the class, virtually, and trying not to cause any kind of, And so, I just let the teachers know that I really want to come and see them and see the kids. And the interesting thing is a lot of the kids, they don't want to be on camera. Mm-hmm. So that's the hard part. I really feel for our educators right now, because it's just doubly challenging to make those connections, which we all know is very important, right? Yeah. So important. But it's still possible. So I've been trying to put out a weekly bulletin, and I got an email from a parent about one of our teachers. Just even in distance learning, this teacher has touched this kid that he has turned around. The mom has made such a big deal of how he's changed and where she's seen her kid in darkness and depression. He just, his attitude has changed because of his connection with this teacher. So I think every person needs to remember that it's not just for teachers. It's just every opportunity you have to meet somebody, you really don't know the impact you have. And I think we're lucky because, the things I love to hear is when somebody reaches out to me, former student, how many years ago, and then they'll tell me, you know what, you're the reason why I chose to go to college. Wow. And to hear that from an adult that's doing amazing things for the community, it's like, wow. Mm-hmm. So you never know. And the flip side of that, we spent many, many years at the middle school level. And of course, kids this age are going through so many changes, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I like to remind teachers is, yes, we have a lot of patience, but sometimes we reach our daily limit, right? Mm-hmm. And I tell the teachers that, you know what, you might not see the kid change this year or even next year. And some kids are just, they bloom at their own rate, but they will. So, let's not give up. Let's not give up. And it's so true. They'll come back in high school and they'll recognize, gosh, I was a little piece of, when I was here. But, you didn't give up on me. So
middle school is definitely its own. It's a very unique age. And we have Tony Terrazas here.
Yes. Yes. How are you? Hi.
And I'm sure she knows, but if you don't know Tony, Miss Lora is now the principal at Chula Vista Middle. I'm sure you already know. That there's the message that I keep hearing from you about like everything in its time. Everything in its time. Everything in its time is a lesson that you learned in your life. Mm-hmm. Everything in its time is something that like a message that you're sharing with the people that are in your school community, and I'm sure in your life. I think that really goes along with that word patience that you had shared, right? Everything in its time, everything is going to happen in its time. And that's such a beautiful way, I think, of walking into your 50s.
Right, right. So, I had my son when I was 35 in the hospital world that's already advanced maternal age. And he really is somebody who's taught me a lot of patience because, we would go to the well baby visits and it was actually my sister. We were taking him to his 24-month visit. And she said, you might want to mention that, he's not talking yet. And I didn't even realize it. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, he's not talking. I said, oh my gosh, so that started this whole process of him being eligible for speech language, therapy. And he's definitely somebody who's a late bloomer. He doesn't go by the standardized, by this many months, he should be doing this. By this many months, he should be doing this. And so he really is somebody who, was placed in my life to teach me. So
I just, again, like everything in its time. And what a beautiful thing to have that message for your son.
Yeah.
So Mama Tony.
Thank you.
We have Yvette Dukes. Yes, that early intervention. So she's hitting it because it's so, but that is also an educator. Is absolutely important. It is
right.
Um, you know, I have a daughter that had speech, and now Luna is actually in getting she's in her assessment phase for speech because of stuttering.
Yeah.
Also like the pronunciation, but everything again, like you said, in its time. And it's super cute the way that she pronounces some words. Oh gosh, I can't think of them right now, but there's some words like she'll say that's disgusting, but she doesn't say the D. So she'll be like, disgusting. Or oh, I'm sorry. And I like, you have to record her because there's gonna be a day that she will never say it that way again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there is a day that like it'll be gone.
Yeah.
I think that again is just that reminder of the ebb and flow of life.
Right. And you know what's so great about today's times, Marisol, is the message of acceptance, and that, people are different. But I think for a lot of people, the thinking of wanting to be accepted, we talked about the idea of being popular in high school, but it really, I feel like, goes back to just the human need to feel welcome and feel accepted.
Belonging. It's about belonging. So let me get in here. That said, she was a stutterer. So you know what? I stuttered, and I went to speech for a very short amount of time. But I need to know those strategies. And Camerina, so this is what the Luna says. She says, "I sorry." And she says, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I also, what I have found, like with the stuttering, I actually repeat myself.
Yeah.
So I don't stutter, but I will say the same thing. Like I get stuck on saying the same things.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, well, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Like, so I get kind of in. How is he doing now with his speech and his?
He's a lot better, and you just don't realize how speaking impacts just even, just your social skills, development of social skills. Because I know that, he's painfully shy, and I don't know if that was a result of him not feeling confident about speaking. I kind of think it is. But at the same time, like he has these other skills that sometimes I'm just blown away. Like he's a very creative, he's a very deep thinker, and he's a very creative writer. So even if it's not coming out orally, it's coming out in other ways, But yeah, he's doing very well. He's doing very well.
You talked about earlier in talking about your husband about the importance of love language and communication.
Yeah.
I think that piece of communication is it's not just this. And things that I love, I was, if you watch Babies, and I was actually watching this was maybe a year ago, but there was a baby that had learned sign language.
Oh,
He was communicating like, I'm hungry, I'm sad. And it was a little bitty baby. It just blew me away because I think just more and more, and I think it's partially being a grandma, but just also like just life experience, like realizing how brilliant our children are.
Oh my gosh.
Like how necessary it is. Like what you're saying, his talent and his skill and his gift, he has it. It just isn't coming out the way that we're used to it being, right? Yeah. But have a child that is a creative writer and that is part of their brilliance, and you being able to see that and help him develop that.
Yeah.
The
funny thing is he loves to beatbox. So that's his way of using his voice box, so it's just really funny, that
and with that, like the beatboxing, the vibrations, everything that happens, like that is phenomenal. That doesn't surprise me. Were you a dancer?
Was I a dancer? I was a wannabe dancer. You know what? I really enjoyed dance. So I was never I never took classes or anything, but I'm Filipino.
I know that you were choreographing us. My first year.
Come on, we're doing Janet Jackson. Come on.
Let's do it. We was it That's the Way Love Goes? Was that part? Right?
I forgot what I don't know.
It was you
got down, didn't we? We got down.
Maybe it was a CD. You had somebody make a mix.
It was a mix. Yeah, all about the mixes. I love music. I love music in general, but yes, I love to move. I love to dance. I dabbled in hula because my cousin had a troupe and she gave lessons. But I love to dance.
Yeah, me too. And I know singing. I think do you remember that one time we went over for karaoke and we didn't leave your house? I think we legit rolled out of your house at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And like,
I'm ready to go to bed, guys. Have at it. Here's the mic. Choose your song.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
And what's great is like being at Chula Vista Middle, which is the school of, it's just, it's not all about books, and academia. I really feel like the arts.
Performing arts. So what are the programs that you have there?
We have drama, we have choir, we have guitar, we have dance, which is amazing. All of them are amazing. We have visual art. I feel like I'm missing a band.
Yeah.
So, So if you want to come to Chula Vista Middle, come on down.
And what's so beautiful though, I think, is just like what we're talking about, like the early intervention, right? Like if there is a need that you have for your kid, but also all of the gifts that they come to us with, they're not all the same, right? And so it's so important for schools to offer opportunity and options to our kids.
Yeah. And every child has a gift. Every child has a gift. We just, it's part of our purpose to tap into that, so, and help them discover. They don't even, they might not even know what their gift is yet. So.
I haven't talked to my family about this yet, but I think we already knew. So Luna has been staying with us. She's not here right now, but she's been staying with us so that Mimi and Martin can, just get necessary needs time. So anyway, she was in the shower and she was turning the water on to cold. And I was like, ooh, like she's a thrill seeker.
Oh,
coldness, like that physical coldness was like, like she was so excited about it. Yeah. And when she was, I think it's been a year ago now, we went to Knott's Berry Farm and she loves riding on the roller coasters.
Oh my God.
From up and downs. She would be like, and at Knott's Berry Farm, there's a space where you can walk and the roller coaster goes above you.
Oh yeah.
So she just wanted to stand there and watch the up and down, and she would scream. But part of what I was thinking, I was like, she needs the experience of that thrill. So like we need to get this little girl in skiing and skydiving, like the physical thrill of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what age, right? Like you start paying attention a little bit more. There's some parents that already did this. I was not this parent. I needed to grow into it. But really recognizing your kids, like seeing in them, and nurturing those gifts, like you said, like recognizing the gift that they have and pouring into the gift.
And what's really cool is, your child obviously is a mixture of your heritage. So like I know my nephew got the musical bug from my dad. My dad never took formal lessons either, but he self-taught in guitar and piano. He loved to sing. And so same thing with my oldest nephew. He can just hear something and play it, so it's just it's really cool. It's really cool when you see something that's been passed on, especially from the grandparents, so my parents live with us, and that's been another journey.
How long have they been with you?
Sorry?
How long have they been with you?
They've been with us for like 5 years now. And, talk about another layer in a marriage, right? So That's another thing I give kudos to Eric for for being a really, really great son-in-law to them,
Well, and you were also a great daughter-in-law.
Well, maybe you wouldn't, sometimes I have to be kind of firm with them, it's the tables have turned, right? I'm kind of at this place where my sister and I are becoming the parents, we have to they don't really understand this whole COVID situation. And my mom wants to continue to drive and go out. I'm like, first of all, Mom, you can't see very well and you can't hear very well. So I don't think it's very safe for you to drive, and, of course you feel empathy for them or sympathy because we want to go out, I mean, we're kind of going, stir crazy, staying home for so many days in a row. So even though, we need to go out too.
Yeah.
So, it's been tough. It's been tough that way. And, I think it's tough for them too, to also relinquish being the parent and having to, kind of, give up some control to their kids, So it's kind of acknowledging that they're getting older too.
I can imagine though. I love that intergenerational living because I think it could be so important and healthy for the kids and for elders.
Yeah. I tell my kids all the time, I didn't know my grandparents because they were in the Philippines, we visited them maybe, I don't know, a handful of times, but I didn't spend day-to-day time with them. So, I feel very, very grateful that, the girls aren't really here, but EJ gets to see his, on both sides, his paternal grandmother already passed, but that they're able to connect with them and see them on a regular basis. That's something that I didn't have,
So tell me about Sherilyn and Allison. How are they doing?
They're living their best lives. They're those girls, but we put this idea in them that because we didn't get to travel when we were young, I said, before you have any kind of responsibilities, go see the world, because that's a whole education in itself, So they've been able to travel, not now, obviously, but and the beauty of it is Allison and about 2 or 3 of her friends, since they're all working virtually, they actually rented a Airbnb in New York. So for a month. Of course, I didn't know about that till she came back. But they worked during the day, and they were able to have some adventures, in New York on the after hours and on the weekends. So. In some ways, of course, they didn't go where it was densely populated,
right.
And I'm hoping that they're still keeping up with their safety practices. But I just admire that they have the opportunity to, when we're done, with this COVID thing, that they're able to travel and see a lot of things. Remember, I talked to you about people to people because was it Mimi who? Yeah.
Yeah, Mina did it.
Yeah. So, Allison ended up doing that and she loved it. She actually, after she graduated, she did some kind of internship in New Zealand and Australia for a few weeks over the summer, right when she graduated. So, and then she had plans to go to Japan before the Olympics, but then, COVID hit. So they're doing really, really well. And I love that we had that in common, that our girls were kind of similar, similar ages.
Well, yeah, and then we both had our babies again. So EJ's he's a little bit younger than Sophie. She'll be 16 in September.
Oh my gosh, 16 already. Yeah. So EJ's turning 15 next month. But he's still my baby. I'm like, come give me a hug. Yeah. And there's something different with a boy. I'm telling you, I didn't know, people say, oh yeah, mothers and sons. And I feel it, I feel it. And part of it, I think, is because our parents helped raise the girls. You know, we were.
Well, you were both working.
Starting to work.
Yeah. So I was 19 when I had Camerina. You were 21,
21. Mm-hmm.
When you had, so at that same time though, like I was going to school, like we started teaching, like, so it was just a different time. And then I think also the maturity, the age difference between being in your early 20s and being in your 30s.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of growth that happens in that time. And I think with Sophia, like I really learned, again, that word patience is coming up again for me, is like to really savor the moments of every one of her phases of her growth, because I knew, like I was sharing earlier, like there's a moment when you're holding them all the time, and then one day you put them down and you don't ever have to carry them again.
Right.
Or they go from crawling to walking, and so there's always that last crawl, right? But you never know when it's going to be. So I think I really had learned like to just savor those moments of her childhood and to just be patient and be calm and let things be, even when and she wasn't too much of a she wasn't too much of a crier when she was little, but like I it would pass. Like it doesn't last forever, you know?
It doesn't, and they grow so fast. You know, like, can you imagine how many more years they're going to be out of the house?
So what are you looking at? You're getting ready to turn 50.
Yeah.
Your son is going to be 15. So by what are the next 10 years of your life going to hold?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is something that I never planned, right? People have vision boards and they have like, what's happening in their lives. By 30, I'm going to have this. I just kind of let life happen. I really want to travel. For me, like, I'm so jealous that my kids have gone to Europe and I haven't gone to Europe yet. So I really want to travel. I feel like I need to be a lot better at taking care of my health. Because, girl, I love to eat, so.
Your husband, those meals that you put on Facebook, he legitimately he did he have any formal training?
No. Well, okay, we had one. It was just a fun like sushi class that we took, and he just like took it to the next level, So he likes food too. So we're all into like the cooking shows, knowing the culinary. We watch all those Top Chefs and stuff like that. So
but then he makes you the food. Like that's the thing. Like I just watch it every night, but then he legitimately will make you the gourmet meal, and then you eat it. So thank you for sharing the photos. Thank you so much.
And people are like, girl, can we come over? And so I'm like, hey, they want to taste your food. And then he gets shy,
Because he says, it's like, well, I hope it's good. Yeah, I can tell. His food is delicious. His food is amazing and delicious. So you want to travel and you want to continue to, so when you say like focus on your health and your, talk a little bit more about that, your physical, mental, emotional combination.
Well, a combination of both. Like, I think that as you get older, we were kind of talking about the people around you and who you keep close. Like, I feel like, that circle kind of naturally gets smaller, So I have a great network of friends, really grateful. And a lot of them I've known since like elementary and middle school. So been very, very lucky with, great people in my life. But yeah, I think I need to move more. I need to put the tunes on and, start dancing again, even just walking, and that does so much, right? Because, I used to work really close. Like I've been kind of lucky with the places I've worked too. They've been like 10, 15 minutes away. But now my drive is at least 20 minutes. And I really like that time in my car alone. I like listening to music. I like, being able to chat with somebody that I haven't talked to in a little bit, check in and, or just enjoy the ride. It's just kind of like me time. So, and I really want to become healthy because I want to be able to do things with my family, Yeah.
And when those grandbabies come, enjoy every minute with them.
I can't wait. But I don't know. I don't know if that's really soon for me.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, as soon as it's COVID safe, I will bring you some grandbabies.
Okay. Yeah, I can get my baby fix.
It's just such a beautiful gift, and I think that was one of the positives of having kids young, is that I'm able to really enjoy and be present for my grandbaby.
Yeah.
Like that is a gift.
Yeah, and it's give and take because like I said earlier, with the girls, it was really the grandparents that helped raise them. But I think in some ways that was a gift for them too. That they were able to spend that time with their grandkids. And then, being an older person giving birth at a later age. I like what you said, that you're just savoring, the moments that you have.
Yeah, because then they grow up and they're 28 and 26, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Camerina will turn 27. She lost her mind, I think last week, and thought she was turning 28 and freaked me out. And Emilia turns 26 this year.
That's awesome.
So they're right there with each other. Yeah. And then, they're adults and they're gone. And one day, very soon, Sophia's going to be going away to college. And I think like you're talking about, like wanting to be, like, I want to be healthy to be able to enjoy my life. Right?
Yeah. So, something different with EJ is I don't know if he's on the college path. I think with the girls, it was kind of automatic. Like, oh yeah, you're going to college. But with him and his, he says it all the time. He doesn't really enjoy school for a variety of reasons. And it's not because he can't. It's just, it's not his thing. So, I don't know what his path is. And I've come to accept that, okay, maybe it's not college for him, so he'll do something else.
Well, and, I will tell you, both of my girls went to community college and they still have not finished. They talked to me about going back. And, Laura, like each part of my growth as a mom is I did have a very hard time for many years with not finishing college, with them not, because it was something that I did and I thought that they were just automatically going to do. But part of my learning in life was that they are on their journey. Like I had my journey. My journey included college. My journey included becoming an educator. Their journey is theirs. And I really want to honor their journey and support them in any way that they want me, and I'm able to support them. And with Sophia, it's different. She's ready to go to college. She was looking at her class standing.
Wow.
She is very different. She applied for some summer school programs at Carnegie Mellon. And she got in. So celebration to my baby. She was working on her application for, like, she was stressing out about it. And she was like, it's, I feel like it's last minute. I said, okay, when is it due? And she was like, in 5 days.
Oh my gosh.
Very different, especially for me, where I'm like, oh, when I'm telling you it's last minute, that's because it's due in 10 minutes. But this is her journey.
Right. So, I think, as you get older, you kind of, push things on people. For me, I've kind of accepted that, I don't need to push things on people. Maybe that was my, idea for what I wanted for them, but, they'll figure it out. And, That's something I tell parents all the time because they're stressed out that their kids are not, they're not reading by kindergarten, or they will figure it out.
Like you said, like in their time.
Yeah.
In time, not on your time. He is so fortunate to have you and Eric, and to have understanding. He is very fortunate. He's blessed.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, so this is the point. I'm going to give us a little extra time because I always wind up taking more time. So I told you we're going to say 5 things that we're proud of. But I'm like the old teacher. Remember when we used to get the
markers from the
whiteboard or from the overhead? I'll hear the expo. Were they X? Anyway.
Yeah. Vis-a-vis or something.
Something like that. 5 things that you're proud of, but they can't be things like, I'm so proud of my kid. No, like 5 things that you have done or that you have impacted that you're proud of. Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. You know what? I always know I'm going to do this. You think that I would prepare. Okay. So one thing that I'm proud of, I really also want to focus on my health and my nutrition specifically. So I looked around at some programs that I joined. I'm doing the Noom free trial right now.
I've heard of that.
But so I'm enjoying it so far, just kind of poking around, seeing how things are. But it's a step. I'm not saying it's the step, but it's a step in taking action towards that goal. Number 2 thing that I'm proud of is that last week, I've taken 2 weeks off of work to be able to help me with the baby. But last week there was some stuff that someone else had promised that they were going to do and prepare, and they didn't get it done. And I was just so happy that I was like in the space and that I've created a workspace for myself and in the mental space to get this project done. And it came out really well.
Oh, good.
It involved like graphics and stuff, and that is not my thing. And it came out pretty.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's big. Okay, number 3. So today I'm proud of myself. I went to, him, Pedro. So I went over, I was like, hey, Pedro, I need to talk to you. And so just having that moment with him and seeing the kids and seeing his wife and just being able to, to talk and to connect, that's also part of me asking for what I need, right? Like I needed to connect and check in. And so I asked, and it was welcomed as it should be, as I would for anybody else. Okay, number 4. Also on my break, I'm working with this alumni council developing the work, and so we had a meeting today, and I'm just like I'm so proud of myself for being committed. Like you talked about loyalty, like I could have called them and just texted them and said, hey, you guys, like I'm on grandma duty, I'm not going to show up, but things worked out that I didn't have the babies and I was able to be there, so I'm proud of myself for that. My 5th one escaped me. I had it and then it left me. Gosh, it was a good one too. Okay. I'm going to let you go and hopefully it'll come to me.
Okay. Yeesh. Let me see. I am proud of myself that although I'm very lucky, I get, great meals prepared, that I also can cook too, So sometimes when I have a chance, especially on the weekends, because food is also another love language in our household. So I can put some things together. I tell Eric, I got breakfast today. So I'm proud of myself for being able to whip something up too, to feed my family. I am proud that I'm definitely putting a lot of effort into showing the staff that I am committed to them, that I'm making myself available to them. And so today a teacher told me, can I just tell you that, we can, we're so happy to have you, and we can see, it's such a difference because the staff has seen 4 different people within a year,
Wow.
So yeah, it's been very challenging for them. I am also proud of myself for being able to work with a teacher who was transplanted to my school for things weren't going well at the other site, and instead of starting off on a punitive kind of step is really to me about coaching. So I observed her class. We made an appointment. I gave her some feedback, and she was just very appreciative because she's stepping into distance learning. Not having taught last semester is all new to her. And she said that she let me know this was very, very valuable feedback for her. So I said, well, good. That's what I'm here for. I am proud of the fact that I'm working on my relationships with the women in my life, and that's really my sister and my mom. Like I said, roles are changing, and just being able to understand, where they're coming from sometimes. And sometimes when you're in it, you don't see it, right? And sometimes you just have to take a step back, and so that you can get a different view. And then listening, like I said before, listening. And what is my last one? So that's about, me being able to invest in relationships. And I think I'm just proud of, making plans for recreation. That's where I'm at in my life. Mm-hmm. Our whole day can be consumed with work, and you really have to block out time, when you're going to spend quality time just, being with your family or being with friends, going out to eat with people you haven't seen in a while. So, we need to make another date when the Great Maple opens full-fledged.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
You know what, Laura? It's just the message time. Your staff is so lucky to have you.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Family, of course, is really lucky. But I think you're the right person at the right time, and exactly who it is that they need. And I'll share my last one before we sign off. But one of the things that I'm really proud of is that I'm after 3 babies, but like this time I was really able to like be there for my daughter, I think, in the way that she needed me.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for that. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have this time to be at her beck and call if that's what she wants.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for that. So anyway, and I'm grateful for you. So thank you for this time. And yes, we will have a breakfast date as soon as possible.
You got it. You got it.
We're going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for joining us. I will see you on Wednesday. Please know that you are loved and cared for always. Good night.
Okay. This was fun. Thank you.
I'm glad. I love you.
I love you too.